introductions. Then we proceed from there. None of the program. Ningependa huyu mrembo atuombee ule. Simama. Wengine nataka mketi na ikiwezekana msifunge macho. The rest of us can sit down. Huyu tindi anasimama. Tuombe. Tutaanza na introduction. Tuanze na huyu.
Hello. Good morning. My name is Sarah. I'm a sign language interpreter.
Good morning. My name is Irene Bundy, sign language interpreter. Good morning. I hope you're well. My name is Daniel Mutei, in a deaf youth group. My name is Anna Mwikali. I am also deaf in the deaf youth group.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Karen from County Government of Machakos, from the Department of County Administration, Central Students and Public Administration. What I'm seeing from here, I've met even almost as many people. Daniel, we were with him the other day, and he said he likes what we do. We are the same climate change together, this one. So it's like, even you, nobody knows you. So Machakos County government first appreciates you for considering us for this training. And we say you continue with us, even engaging us more at the world level, even at the village level. So the representatives from Machakos County government are all from the sub-county level. And the one is at ward level, but she's so key in the public participation. So the others, we are supposed to be nice sub-county administrators, but they have confirmed as we can. So far I have 5 of them from different, 4 from different sub-counties. And as they continue introductions, I'm hoping the others will be very well. So, Machakos County staff, the support, you can do the introduction. You see where the support is representing.
Machakos account.
Yes.
Oh, we have Machakos account.
Yes.
Good morning. My name is Zomo. I am Support Administrator.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I hope you can all see me. I'm Monica Mutuko. I represent Machakos County.
My name is Sarah. She's the one who does this, the reports for all the Machakos County. Yes, also the reports that we always meet on daily basis. So she's the resource person for the administration. In fact, the administration.
So she works at the main office.
Yes, at the Machakos headquarters. Yes. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you are fine. Happy to be here today. I hope we're going to have a good day. Anna is giving me a very good introduction. But all those people, as if they are my bosses, but
I know you attended our meeting.
yes.
Kuja kwako. For you to do what you focus, you cannot come where the leaders and you're talking. Huh? So, introduce yourself.
Good morning. I'm Regina Namu.
Bado sijasikia lakini tuendelee.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Samuel Matipo. I'll be the representative around.
Good morning. My name is Ruth Wambui, Chief Programs Manager. Very good.
I will let Ken introduce himself, give us a brief about why we're here, and then invite our senior most government officer to open this meeting officially.
Good morning. Let me say that I'm humbled. I'm grateful that you responded to our call. And I hope those who are not here will have a great time, because maybe probably they are coming back. But tunaamini ya kwamba safari start. Otherwise, karibuni sana katika mkutano wetu. It is a half-day meeting, and this meeting is sponsored by UDPK, United Disabled Persons of Kenya. That is an umbrella body which encompasses all disabilities. But we are in collaboration with the LINK. We are more with the programs manager. LINK is the organization which normally does an organization we have a UDPK, and the LINK works in Machakos. We are here in Machakos, so our offices are at the Ministry of Agriculture. When you come to number 6, you are going to get us. All the same is that we have been talking about public participation. We had the officer from the land office, citizen engagement, the service delivered to the persons with disabilities. We are saying that we are also saying we are grateful because of the service we are doing to us, but we are saying that something better can be done than what we are doing. So today tutakuwa na hayo mazungumzo na pia so that we also know each other. These are leaders who are here, who are seated here from different sub-counties, and at your sub-county, you are going to interact with them, you are going to see them in the offices, you will come and you will raise issues. Now, when you are raising issues with somebody you know, you are able to kujadiliana and then you will done. So what we are saying that tuliacha sasa kutufanyia mawe, wananchi kutupia serikali mawe. The most important thing is mjadala. People just discuss and come and have an amicable solution. So I believe that by the end of this half-day meeting we are going to have today, we are going to agree on issues here and there. Kuna mahali ambapo mnakuwa mkifanya vizuri, kuna mahali ambapo mnakuwa mkifanya vizuri, na pengine ni kwa sababu ya kujua au ya kutojua. But all that, I believe hakuna mtu anapendana kufanya mbaya. I believe that kila mtu anapenda kufanya vizuri. So all of us are going to be doing together and interact with our government show interactive session, and I believe that we are going to come up with an outcome which is going to be good. Otherwise, mimi nimesikia mengi ya kusema na wakaribisha sasa na washukuru kwa kuja na mkule mshibe na pia mtoe maoni bila kushindana kuona kama unapendi. Otherwise, at this point, I don't even know if the senior was there because you can hear all of them, they are heading a department. So nyinyi mtaniambia ni nani atakayekuwa mkutano, and then we will welcome our facilitator to continue. Karibuni sana.
Good morning, everyone. All of us we are almost the same level, but let me just open to the meeting. I welcome everyone, and I'm happy that you are all come. Mr. Ken, I'm so happy that I thought of you want to involve the sub-county administrators because they are the ones that deal directly with the public. And I'm very happy that they are going to learn about the disability issue in public participation. But since most of them, they like an example is in Morocco, we have like 4 words. The knowledge that our sub-county administrator Mark will get, will be able to transfer it to the ward level. And as we had communicated, I was also requesting you to come to the ward level. And I know you do that as promised. But today, I want all of us to be ready to learn. We share our knowledge, to ask questions. And then, as Mr. Ken has said, now we have a moment of kurusha mawe. Now nowadays it's a dialogue. So I'm happy that you had my prayer today. It's a compliment. And I don't know now for Yata. Everybody has agreed with that. Thank you. Is representing Yata sub-county, the farthest state. Yes. So I want you to really give these people the input that they require, and we all cooperate. And also the people living with disability, you know, Machakos County, we don't discriminate that. We even in our employment we consider you. The one for Kalama, we agreed and we're happy about it. Yes. We're very happy, and I welcome you again.
about registration. Registration. There's this form. You write your name and contact. Where you're writing contact, write your M-Pesa number. The number that you can send money to. Msiandike kama madaktari. Ikuwe rahisi. The first thing I'm going to do is to reorganize our sitting. Ni kama government imeamua kukaa saidi yake na wengine saidi yao. So, yule madam hapo pale kuja uketi hapo. Because we are not very many, nataka nikae kila mtu hii saidi. We feel here where we can see each other. So ile timu iko pale, kuja mkae hii saidi. Ruth utaama hapo uende kwingine. Ruth wewe utaama. Wewe ni utaama, nataka wakae hapa mahali tunaonana. Yes, hapa ni sawa. Now, this is one of the few meetings where I'm not afraid to speak. I'm not afraid to speak in English because everyone here has done English. But for the sake of myself, I'm going to be mixing the language. And I want to start by mentioning the following. My name is Alfred Asande. I'm Alfred Asande. I work for United UDPK, United Disabled Persons of Kenya, as a consultant in public participation, inclusive public participation, where inclusive means that public participation welcomes everyone. Welcomes everyone, including people with disabilities. The approach we use in our trainings is called design thinking. Design thinking. Design thinking is an approach that puts the user at the center. The user at the center. In our case, the user is, in quotes, a person with disability. That's the user. Our user is a person with disability. So the key question we are asking ourselves, how do we ensure that our public participation forums are welcoming to a person with disability? But who is a person with disability? Who is a person with disability? Somebody tell me. Who is a person with disability? I must also mention that I'm just a facilitator. I don't know many things. As a matter of fact, I don't know anything. I'm just a facilitator. So, I will come from here. It's a person with disability. I want people from government. There's a poem I want to read to you. There's a poem I want to read to you. It says, the 6 blind men of Indostania. So the 9 blind administrators of Machakos. The 9 blind administrators of Machakos who went to see an elephant. So 6 blind men under the elephant. 6 blind men under the elephant. It reads like this. It's written in the King's language. It was 6 men of understanding to learning imaginary climb who went to see the elephant, though all of them were blind, that each by observation might satisfy his mind. So it was the 9 blind administrators of the Machakos who came for the inclusion training, that each by learning will know how to include people with disabilities. The first one, I think now the house is full, but we'll proceed. They first approached the elephant, and happening to fall against its broad and sturdy side, at once began to bow. God bless him. But the elephant felt like a wall. Yule wa kwanza nafikiria aligusa kwa tumbo the elephant. Akasema, oh, God bless me. The elephant is just like a wall. The second, feeling of the task, cried, oh, what have we here? So very round and smooth and sharp. To me, this might clear this wonder of an elephant is felt like a spear. So mmoja amesema it's a wall, mwingine akasema it's a spear. The third approached the animal, and happening to take the squirming trunk within his hands, thus boldly up and spake, I see, quoth he, the elephant is felt like a snake. The fourth reached out an eager hand and felt about the knee. What most this wondrous beast is like is mighty claim, quoth he. This clear enough, the elephant is felt like a tree. The fifth, who chanced to touch the ear, said, the blindest man can tell what this resembles most. Deny the fact who can. This mouthful of an elephant is felt like a fan. The sixth, no sooner began about the beast to grow than seizing on the swinging tail that fell within its scope, said, I see, the elephant is felt like a rod. And so these men of understanding disputed loud and long, each in his own opinion exceeding stiff and strong, though each was partly in the right and all were in the wrong. Why am I giving you that poem, The 6 Blind Men of Understanding? It's because I asked, who is a person with disability? Who is a person with disability? I know you know, but you didn't want to tell me. The newcomers, thank you for coming late. You know, better late than never. I wish we could take your seats moja kae pale. I want to be able to see every one of us. Yeah. And of course, you are going to tell us your name and your sub-county. Thank you for starting.
Yes, morning everyone. Sorry for coming late. My name is Nelson Mogela. I'm supported from the fire
Masinga, we can excuse you. You know, it's in another county. It's very far. Next. Mwala.
Yeah, even in Mwala is not.
You know, one day I went for an interview and I was late. The guys waited for me for 2 hours. So the moment I got in, they said the interview is done. I was late. So I lost my job that I was very sure I was going to do what? To get. Sometimes we give reasons and sometimes we give excuses when we don't do things. For example, a county administrator will give a very good excuse and say, the other time people were late. Another one, that's an excuse, it's not an reason. Another one will not include people with disabilities and they will say, oh, we sent them an SMS, they didn't come. So the 6 blind men on your stand. Normally when we describe people with disabilities, people have different ways of thinking about it. Different ways of thinking about it. No, I remember. This lady, what's your name? Well, what's your name? Kyoko, okay. Hata huyu mzungu amfuate na wewe kuja. Matthew, Daniel, Daniel, yako nani disability? Which one? Hearing. Daniel has hearing. Hearing disability, hearing impairment. If you meet Daniel in the street, utajua kwamba ako nani disability. So we'll say his disability is hidden until you started talking to him. See what? Daniel, you can see it. Kyoko, what is her disability? Physical. She's unable to walk. She's disabled. She's able to walk. You walk. Ukimkimbiza, zitashika haraka sana. Walk like that. One day she'll become a model. Her disability is mobility. Simple. Now, hers may not be severe because she's able to walk. But you've seen people on wheelchairs. You've seen others like our very own fighter here, who is on like this. So this type of disability, this and that, and those on wheelchair, people quickly identify because it's a visible disability. Ken has left. What kind of disability? You can go sit, the two of you way back. What kind of disability does Ken have? Visual. He cannot see. What disability does she have? Huh? Albinism. What's the disability in albinism? What's the disability in albinism? I'm going to relate all this to public participation. What's the disability in albinism? How does that become a disability? You're almost there. You're almost there. Fungua page 2 unisomee. Fungua page 2 unisomee.
Iko na page? Ama ni hivi hapa? Executive Secretary. Executive Summary. The Inclusive Disability Project is a United Disabled Persons of Kenya.
Tosha. Sign language interpreter simama. Fungua page 2 unisomee.
Executive Summary. The Inclusive Disability Project is a United Disabled Persons.
Who has noticed any difference here? Mmoja anasoma kama wewe. Mmoja anasoma kama wewe, sivyo? Mwingine you can see it. The disability in albinism inakuanga multiple. Most of them are what? Low vision. They have low vision. The worst part is that because of their skin, like he said, hawaweka wapi? Kwa jua. So ukianika watu wetu kwa jua during a public participation meeting, jua kwamba kuna watu fulani umewacha nini? Umeweka nje. Let's go to the 6 blind men of Indostania. What is becoming clear is that you cannot define disability using one sentence. Tumeona? Because there are diverse teams of people with disabilities. And the kind of support, for example, you give to Daniel, the moment umemletea sign language interpreter, umesolve shida zake za communication, sio? The moment you bring meetings closer to the people, umesaidia matigo, and those who are unable to walk. The moment umeweka meetings zako, if it's in a building where there are natural lighting, big windows, inamaanisha people with low vision wamefanya nini? Wamekuwa included. The moment you distribute information and information notices in braille, umehakikisha mtu kama Ken atasoma hiyo information. Tumeelewana? Let's go to the 6 blind men of Indostania. 6 blind men of Indostania. I know people are not going to see that. Ni mtu gani yako hapa? Sometimes anafikiria kwamba pombe ni mlemea. Wanaume, shida inakuanga kwenu kubwa. Inua mkono tu. Kama ni ukweli. Inua mkono. Kuna mmoja anajua amekataa kuinua mkono. You know why? You know why? There is something called stigma that is around some types of disabilities. For example, a disability called mental disability. Ama siku hizi tunaita politically correct psychosocial disability. Sasa kuna watu fulani among our populations who suffer from mental disabilities. So those people, you don't expect them to raise up their hands and talk, because the moment they talk, wataanza kumuona, mnaanza kutoroka hivi. Wazimu ndio huyo. Wakamba mnaita wazimu wapi? Nyoka. Yes. But people who have mental disabilities are not Nyoka. They are not Nyoka. Some of them are your friends. Only that because of stigma, they don't disclose. Among our ladies here, how many of you, when I say no, this is a safe space. How many of you sometimes remember your mood swings? Sinakuja mpaka suddenly you become sad. Kitu inaitwaje? What's the name of that disability? Bipolar.
Bipolar disorder.
Yes. Ni watu wangapi wanakuwa na anxiety? Anxiety when you want to talk. You have something you want to talk, but you can't talk because of anxiety. And sometimes you get an anxiety attack. So, among the 6 blind men of Indostania, there is a type of disability called mental or psychosocial disability. Now, people suffering from psychosocial disabilities ideally will not come out. Some of them are our workmates. Some of them are our brothers. If you've ever had a time when you felt like you need to see a counselor, perhaps you need to see that counselor. Because a disability is something, a disability is not kwamba una mguu. Tunaelewana? Ni wakati ile mguu, the environment inafanya ile mguu isifanye vitu which normal other people easily do. For example, if all buildings had ramps, then it means someone on a wheelchair can access those buildings as if hakukuwa na disability. Tumeelewana? So what disables the person is not the missing limb, it's the environment. So what disables a person with mental disability? Number one, lack of medication in our hospitals. Lack of psychosocial support services kama counseling. What the disables are is when they know you make the cream they use, the sunscreen, you make it expensive, you tax it. The other day I went to a supermarket to do a normal search. I found the cream they used costs 2,800, a very small thing. Yet when we're doing our county budgets, we don't remember. We don't have 1 million people with albinism in this county. In fact, we can count them. Hawawezi fika 500. Si ukweli? We can count them. Sasa watu 500 ndio wanashinda county mzima. Leaders. Watu 500 tu. Nani hapa anajua kitu inaitwa epilepsy? Epilepsy. Is it a disability? Epilepsy. It's a form of mental disability. It's not psychosocial, it's mental. There's a thin difference between the two, but we group them like this. Down syndrome. Anyone here who knows someone with Down syndrome? The 6 blind men of Indostania. The 9 blind men and the women of Machakos. Anyone who knows Down syndrome, developmental disorders? Who has ever found an adult who is not sick, but if you send him to the shop, that adult will not come back? Anyone else ever seen that type of person? You've seen them? Where do we call them mama jara? It's matusi of some kind. What do you call them in Kikamba? You know the person I'm describing? Ujinga. I've always wondered what happens to children who have that type of disability. It's a developmental disability, generally we call it intellectual disability, and there is no two people with intellectual disabilities who are the same. They all have intellectual disability because it has something to do with your intelligence, the IQ, the intellect. And the intellectual disability tends to come together with other conditions. It can come with epilepsy, it can come with Down syndrome, it can come with cerebral palsy. She's mentioning autism. I don't want to put autism under intellectual disability. We'll come to it. But generally, people think autism is intellectual disability, not necessarily. So those people, do they come to our public participation meetings? Generally, do we expect them to come? They will not come. So the promise of inclusive public participation fails when we are unable to include the very marginalized groups, like people of intellectual disabilities. Even if they come to the meeting, they are unlikely to contribute. Simple. They are unlikely to contribute. So we must figure out what we can do to those guys. Now, she mentioned autism. Anyone here who knows an adult or a child with autism? Aniambie vile anakaa. Wengine wako hapa na wengine wako silent. Wengine wanakaa sasa kama wale tunasema chizi. Ukikuja ambaye they beat you. You know them? Autism. How do we include people who have autism? Hiyo ndio swali. The 6 blind men. I'm trying to describe some disabilities. Daniel, simama. Kuja kwa hii corridor. Nataka ufunge macho. Na utembee mpaka huko mwisho na urudi. Ufunge macho. It's impossible. It's not impossible. Look. Nimefunga masikio. So what happens when Daniel is deaf and he is blind? He is deaf and he is blind. What happens? Sign language interpreter haezi msaidia. Sio? You know the blind, because they are able to hear, Daniel, you can see. because they are able to hear, you can give them directions on how to do things. So that mobility, alright. So we have a group of people who are deaf and blind. Hii Machakos, uliniambia wako wangapi? Ushawahi mtu mmoja? Have you ever seen even a single deaf blind guy in Machakos? Hata mmoja hapa deaf na blind. Kuna hata mmoja. Wewe. Anyone in your sub-counties? Umewasikia? There are a few ni mlolongo. Ana communicate namna gani? Shida kubwa. Shida gani? Shida kubwa. Define disability. So disability, think about it as any sensory or mental impairment. Sensory meaning you can't hear, you can't see, senses, or mental, intellectual, and psychosocial. That hinders a person from carrying out their day-to-day activities of living. Day-to-day activities of living. Ndugu yangu hiyo ikishinda sasa tuachane the second order na Is there anyone here from the government side who was a friend or a family member with a disability? And the family member, okay, by show of hands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Everyone except that. Yeah. Everyone. What does that tell you? That the disability is with us. The World Health Organization says that 15% of any population includes a person with disability. Meaning, if you have 100 people together, 15 have a disability. Now, this disability, some of them, like we said, are visible, you can see them. But a good number are hidden. A big number of disabilities are hidden. The World Health Organization has recently said that among men, erectile dysfunction is becoming a disability. And that is going to be a disability that is hidden. See, where's the other? So we have a number of disabilities. If you find girls, intellectual disability is most common among men. It's most common among men. But there are a few women who have intellectual disability. A few. They are very beautiful. Very beautiful. So what happens? Their fathers are raping them, well knowing they can't say anything. So I don't know, as sub-county administrators, I keep wondering, this is sub-county administrators, county government. County government. Do we have administrators who are on a commission? Wale wa national government actually? Do you work together? This is it. What is the way that yours? You work together. So, under your roles, for example, under your roles, your administration roles, is it of interest when, oh beautiful, is it of interest when, for example, you are able to take legal issues when you find parents who have abandoned their children with intellectual disabilities? Is that part of your role? What's your exact role? Your role in public participation, I know it. What are your other roles? The DO, I know, hiyo ni kama wale chifu wetu wa kitambo, hiyo structure, hiyo naielewa. Chifu anaweza kuja kwako akwambie, huyo mtoto umeficha mtoe. Sio? Nyinyi, do you have any role in that kind of administration?
Yes, we have. We observe the way classes.
Oh, very good.
Every village has a village administrator. So in case of that incident, we report to the support admin, then that's taken to the police. We organize how the police will come. For that, instead I take the case.
So you also do administration? You know, you're called administrators. You do administration. You are all sina katana na wale wengine. Sina katana. That's what I wanted to hear. Because what we are seeing in other counties, wale wa commissioner wale ndio wanachukua hizo mambo, but they don't understand and we cannot reach them. We can't reach them. But we are able to reach county administrators, sub-county administrators, ward, blah, 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 blah. So that, as a county administrator, one of the key things you need to figure out, how do we ensure that our populations, our people develop together. They develop together. So that a parent who has a disability, you know the concept of equality and equity. Equality and equity. We use equity to ensure that a parent who has a disability gets more support compared to a parent without disability. Meaning, if you are thinking about providing a list of people to benefit from bursaries, if something like that comes to your desk, at the top of your head, you know that there are people who have disabilities. So equity is when, say, you have a short man and a tall man. There is a graphic. Yeah. If you have a tall man and a short man, and you want all of them to see this at the eye level, so the tall man is standing and angalia anaona hii kitu at the eye level. So for the short man, you create a stool, unamwekelea hapo naye eye level ifike wapi? Huko. So hii stool umecreate ndio hiyo equity. Ndio hiyo equity. Ingekuwa ni equality, unasema watu wote na watengenezea stools. Umeelewa? Quality, like the one that our women have managed to fight for quite well since Beijing. How old were you, madam, when we went to Beijing in 1995? People used to joke about it, but the Beijing conference has opened doors for women completely. And I think we need to go back to Beijing for the Boy Child's conference. been trying to give you a background of why we are here today. Of why we are here today. 3 points we need to take home. Meaning hata tukimaliza hii meeting saa hii, 3 things to go home. Number 1, in our communities, there are people with disabilities and they have diverse needs. They have diverse needs. That's the key word you underline. They have diverse needs. And the number 2, it's possible to include everyone. It's possible to include everyone. It's possible to include everyone. Number 3, affirmative action is important in bringing equity. It's important in bringing equity to service delivery. Affirmative action is important in bringing equity into service delivery. Ndugu yangu ya Machakos, in a minute or so, tell us the life history of a sub-county administrator in a day. In a day. Unaamka saa ngapi? Unafanya nini?
The social or the professional?
Not the professional. Social ni mbaya hiyo, wachana. The professional. And the kind of challenges anapambana nazo kuanzia saa 2 mpaka saa 11.
Should I tie that to this?
We want to understand how sub-county administrators work.
Obviously, I have a duty station, county headquarters, So, official working hours are 8 to 5. So you'll find me in the office a few minutes before 8. There are housekeeping issues to look into because you have all departments that are housed in my quarter. So I'm likely to just do a walk around to see whether everything is in place. You've got vehicles that are parked in the compound, you have offices, different departments. I get small security briefings on how the evening was for our teams that operate in the night. And if everything is in order, then I step into my office. And you will sometimes find there are clients waiting for you or
Clients.
yes. Seeking
Who are those?
services.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Literally the citizen.
Yeah.
They come seeking government services. Some of the services they seek are probably within my ambience. Others, are issues in other departments, so I will do referrals. Somebody comes in seeking a service from transport, I refer them to the transport team, and so on and so forth. So you will have people coming in. Others don't know what they are supposed to do. They seek a service, but they don't know the procedure. So you're there to advise and to give them proper direction. Others are issues that you can deal with. Our department is anchored under the office of the governor. So we sort of mimic what happens at that level, at sub-county level. So you handle the public based on requests, prayers to the governor's office. Then sometimes there is now the interaction, day-to-day interaction between government agents and the public. ensure that either the public knows what the government is doing concerning their needs, or they make such requests, and then you consider that can be handled at some county level. The ones that can be handled at that level will be referred either vertically upwards or horizontally to your heads of departments.
Okay.
At some point, you take a lunch break.
An extended one.
Yes. You leave your coat in the chair.
Yes.
But of course, you come back and wind up the day.
Okay. In terms of policy implementation, do you receive, what kind of reports do you receive, the monthly reports? What kind of reports do you receive and from who?
As you heard from Carol, we have a structure that runs from the lowest level. When we say village, for county government, village is the equivalent of a sub-location. It's not the very small village.
It's not the village we know.
In fact, our village admins are in the same rank as assistant chiefs. And we have ward administrators who rank the same with DOs. We ourselves are the rank of DCs. So the structure is sort of a mirror reflection of what is in the national team. There is an element that is budget issues. Every village administrator is supposed to have a village council, but they work with the village managers who come from the national side. The idea is that anything that is happening within your sub-county, you get your daily briefings through your WhatsApp groups that you have with your team. So then you know what has happened in the morning, there are issues in the villages, there are accidents, there are developments, there are projects, all of those, you know, so you see through and you determine what goes where. So in terms of policy, we interact with policy either by management, where you already dealing with issues that have to do with functions of county government, or we inform policy by advising that some of the things that are happening on the ground can be done better if ABCD is done from either these departments, or we take it to the vendor.
It's a good summary that I never expected. You know, I expected that normally they go to beaches at the office the whole day. Field work. When you get these reports, in a month, do you have a schedule, for example, saying, I'm going to a specific village, or yours is just office work?
It's a mix of both, because you will have issues that are happening that will require that you go to the field to handle them. The expectation is when you have your ward administrators, majority of public barazas are handled at that level. That is actually the unit of delivery within a county government structure. So you only come in to address what they are doing. If they have challenges in coordinating a particular issue, then you come in. Sometimes at your level you might decide to do a baraza to address an issue in the markets, for example. So you will have your team to go down and coordinate that, and then come and do. So I wouldn't say that admins have a specific, unless you create your own program for specific projects that you want to oversee. You will probably do on a needs basis kind of attention to the business.
In terms of linkages between your office and other arms of the county government, for example, the trade department, because I had someone saying here you do waivers, you say that. So you work with the trade, or you are part of the process that identifies those who can get waivers?
We essentially, we are the only department that is in the constitution. Every other department is created by an act of county assembly, but ourselves, we are anchored within the constitution. If you read the constitution itself with the roles of the sub-county administrators, and you read also that alongside the County Government Act of 2014, it gives us the mandate to discretionally give waivers for specific, particularly PWDs. That is a waiver that is clear. Any other waiver would be considered from the office of the governor. So to answer it, our interaction with other departments is that we are the chairpersons of all interdepartmental committees. Whether the committee is in planning, whether the committee is in trade, whether this committee, and by that I mean the user departments, whether that committee is in revenue, we chair those subcommittees. So essentially, we have level of engagement with the departments.
I didn't know you are that powerful. I didn't know.
That's why I called you.
Yes.
The director of the public.
Yes.
Yeah, the key in the government.
Actually, you are a governor of your sub-county.
Essentially.
Essentially, yes. Meaning, in a case, there's, you know, when you are lucky, you say, well, where did I get it? Because if we are talking about inclusion, then this is the team that can include everyone. This is the team that can include everyone. So essentially, I was thinking this was the only meeting we will have with you, but now we'll come up with another meeting very soon, in which we try and figure out how can we ensure that in the committees, any committee you create, it could be at the village level, it could be at the ward level, anywhere. You make sure that a person with disability, of course I know that is part of our laws, but you make sure that a person with disability is in that committee. The committee could be getting money or not. Essentially, why we need to include people with disabilities into committees, it's a very, you know, I don't want to call it simple, but it's as simple as you saying that give us someone to put in this committee. I normally tell people you can bring all your friends, but if you have a friend with a disability, bring him. Bring them in. There is a mantra that people with disabilities use that says nothing about us without us. Nothing about us without us. I want to give you an example. In one school, for the purpose of discussion, I want to eat Kanaani Primary School in Machakos. And in another school called Kangundo DEP in Kangundo. In Kanaani, the school board does not have anyone with disability. They could be having, but I don't know. It's an example I'm giving. In Kangundo, among the board members, there is someone who has visual impairment. Now, the two schools receive money to build a pit tree. For the record, Kangundo DEB has a population of 1,000 students, out of which 300 have disabilities. That's a fact. Mtu wa Kangundo hapa. Yeah, that's a fact. Kanaani has a population of 600, out of which about 19 have disabilities. That's Kanaani. So they receive 200,000 shillings each to build a pit tree. In Kanaani, later on now, 1 year down the line, we noticed they built a pit latrine at the far end of the compound. At the far end of the compound. Then they built a latrine. What they did was they built a latrine. In Kangundo, we noticed that they built a latrine at the far end of the compound, just like Kanani. But the doors to the latrine are white. They are white in Kangundo, while in Kanaani it's just a standard door. In Kangundo, the door has two-way inches. Unajua ile mlango inasababua kwenda ndani ama kwenda nje. Kanaani wameweka ile standard inch ile ya kufunguka, na maweka inafunguka kwenda, milango mingine imewekwa kufunguka kwenda nje, nyingine imewekwa kufunguka kwenda ndani. At Kanaani, rather at Kangundo, where there are classes, walitengeneza hii choo ya nyumba inaitwaje? A toilet, wakaiwekea pipe ikachukua kwa pit latrine. Alafu wakaandika pale kasaini eti inatumika na watoto walemavu. Kangundo, toka Kanaani, mtoto mwenye ako na disability, including wale wako na intellectual disability, mwenye anaenda choo na apotea, they have to trek the almost 500 meters from their class to the toilet. Kangundo, after wamechenga hii ya toilet yenye watoto wanatumia, wakaiwekea handrails. Na wakaweka mbili, moja iko juu, nyingine iko chini, because of diversity. Now, are we going to attribute the inclusive pit latrines za Kangundo to the person with the disability when you're board? Do you think we can do that? Tunaweza kusema hiyo? Now, it's important to know that when they were recruiting the person with the disability to the board, waliongea na organizations of persons with disabilities, wakawaambia tutafutie mtu mmoja msomi mwenye anaelewa education tumweke kwa board. Hawakuleta mtu yeyote, because having a disability does not qualify you to understand inclusion. Does not qualify you to understand inclusion. So hata wale watu tunaweka kwa zile committee, sio it's because wako na disability, it's because they are qualified. It's because they are qualified. They add some value. Kuna value they bring on board. So if you allow us in our example to attribute, pesa ni zile. I was coming to that. Both were given 200,000. So when we do an audit, Kanaani wanasema sisi our pit latrine, our place is in a sandy place. So tulipochimba we had to build kutoka chini ndio hizi ifanye nini? Perhaps Kangundo wakasema the same, tayari tumejenga. Lakini sisi in addition to the money we receive, we ask the parents to give us materials. Tukuwaomba pesa. Tuliambia parent kama uko na mti tuletee. So wakati walikuwa wanakoroga hapa juu, ile miti walitumia imetolewa na parents ama imekatwa from the school. What are we saying? What are we saying? That when you put people with disabilities in committees, and when you ensure that those people you put there, not for numbers, but they bring some value, then you do good for the inclusion. You do good for the inclusion. And no one knows everything. So after every 3 years, when you change the boards, you bring in someone else. Sio kurecycle mtu mmoja tu. I have a friend of mine in Narok. He has a disability and he knows how to make noise. But if when we need someone to organize people to make noise, you call him. Now the county government has put him in everything they can imagine. Wakisikia kuna kitu fulani wanasema cool kuja. And the cool does not contribute in the meetings, he doesn't do anything. All he needs ni kusikia kitu imeenda mbaya, aende hapo alete shida, a stage demo. Kwa jamaa angesoma atunga toboa. Ana stage demo mzuri sana mpaka karibu anaweka government chini. He has 2 or 3 guys who know how to write. So they have also done petitions. Wakikuanza, you are finished. Because he has people who can write very well, wakuletea petition, wakuambia utafanya hii ama uende. It is a good thing. But like Ken said, we are past the stage where we fight the government. Where we are is that we sit on the same table with the government and we agree on how to do things. I challenge each one of you in your county, sub-county, go identify 1 or 2 people with disabilities who add value, and work with them when you are planning anything. When you are planning anything, work with them, ask them questions. If we want to support people with visual impairment, what can we do? Anakuambia mtu wa visual impairment ni rahisi sana. Ukitaka kumtumia information wewe waje kutuandikia vitu mingi. Mtumie text ama WhatsApp. Wengi wako na nini? Simu zenye zinaweza soma wasikie. Simu. So ukienda sisi tumeweka kwa gazeti which we like doing. Mtu mwenye aoni hawezi soma. Lakini we are not putting notices only for people who do not see. We are putting for every citizen. So ukiweka kitu kwa gazeti, pia tuma hiyo kitu wapi? Kwa WhatsApp. Weka hiyo kitu kwa website. Weka hiyo kitu kwa radio. My friend Daniel anasikiza radio. Utampea information namna gani? Daniel anasoma. So mtumie text. At that time, you don't need a sign language interpreter. So life becomes easier. Meaning, supporting people with disabilities, hakuna kitu rahisi kama hiyo. But do you know where it starts? It starts with us, our attitudes. Madam, niambie kutoka sub-county. Yeah. You see, the people you see here, these are guys with disabilities here. They are elite PWDs. Hawa watu si watu, hata kama unawaona. These are just elite PWDs. Ndio wanakuwa kwa kila mkutano. Ukienda unapata matibu. Ameitwa ndio your organizers wale wa public participation wanaweka tick kwa compliance. Kulikuwa na watu wa nini? Wanaita kulikuwa na watu wa disability. Asifa hao watu na disability wanatembea kando. Kulikuwa na watu wa disability. I'm not talking about quality of participation. Tell us a story in a minute or so. In your sub-county, you may not have the data, but you can tell us. Are you seeing people with a disability in your meetings?
What I've seen, but according to what we talk, there are only some specific people with disability always
In your meetings?
I'm in our family association. I'm in anything that we are doing, we just follow that as
You recycle them.
that is the mistake that now because we don't do them.
Now, I want to know your ideas.
Not really. And for example, because now like in Yaka, the person that we meet is someone with physical disability.
My people, mark our words. The person you have been using. It's true. It's true actually what she said. The people we use. We used to do what? To comply. Yes. So the person you have been using and I contribute the demagogue.
But you see, he does not talk about the other people who are given disability, and he only concentrates on the physical.
I know New York. New York physical everywhere. Because also our perception of disability is physical disability. Here in your perception here. So in Yata, that was Yata. In Yata, as across the country, so Yata peke yake na mashwari ni the people we are using in public participation are the same ones for the purpose of compliance. My friend remind me of sub-county. Mwala. Yes. Kama tunaifika Mwala taoni yake kwa ni Mwala. Masi. Masi natembeanga huko kila siku. When I'm on my way to Kitui. Ni hiyo taoni tunakuta hapo. Masi. From in a minute or so. Does your experience mirror her experience where you are using one person? That's question number one. Question number two. Are you seeing people there with hearing impairment? In Mwala. Umewahi hata mmoja akikuja kwa meeting? Wamekuwa katera. Of everything. Yes.
You know, we've been in different sub-counties. So that's the scenario of the areas that have worked. And again, those with the
Hearing impairment.
they're not very many villages. They are not very many. According to my
Lakini umewaona kwa meetings?
Very high.
Already boss. Yeah. Can I make a request? Can you serve them? Yeah. Okay.
Most people find those them when they are having problems, they work as assistants.
But you never see them in meetings. They are not there. Anyone here who has seen people with hearing impairment in your meetings? You've seen them? Ama uliona Daniel ni kielele. But you see, Daniel does not represent people with hearing impairment. He is an elite. I'm talking about yule muende mwenye akunaja elimu. Okay. Tutaenda kila mtu achukue ile anakunywa in about 10 minutes. So the experience from other sub-counties, kama mnaona, what are you seeing? Wanaitwa small people. No, it's not a joke. That's what the UN calls them.
Like one will agree, he comes to assist you. That's all they do. So
hiyo ni challenge. Eti wanakuja kwa ofisi na karatasi, wanataka mchanga. And then they disappear. Shortly we'll talk about barriers. There are a number of barriers that you need to understand, and once you understand them, then you can overcome those barriers. Because we know it's not sustainable that people go around begging. That's begging. And any assistance you want to give to people, let it be something sustainable, not giving them money. I'm one of the few people who advocate not to give money to people with disabilities. Don't give them money. Instead, figure out how you can ensure they go to school. They go to school. Figure out how they can get training to do business. Figure out how they can. I mean, a blind man is just walking. Figure out how you can give them startup kits. Now, as a sub-county admin, and I heard you mentioning that you are not part of the budgeting process. Do you support the budgeting process within the county? You support? How? Ile budget inasomwa na county, ile inasomwa kwa assembly. Are you part of the process of building up that budget?
yes.
It starts from the
We start with the civic. Through them, the ones who speak with people, the public brings the projects they want.
Meaning, if this team gets the goodwill to include affirmative action in the budgets, itapita tu. You know why we need affirmative action? Because when our beautiful lady was talking, uliona naongea pole pole, sivyo? Wakati wakiwa kwa meeting hawaongei, hata hawakuji kwa meetings. But if we know as leaders, as administrators, that in my sub-county, I have this number. We'll talk about the data. I have this number of people with disabilities, physical, mental, blah, 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 blah. Then in the budgeting, actually the CIDP, na sasa imetupita sasa. Si ishatupita. Because nimeambiwa CIDP kama you are not there, finished for 5 years. But the beautiful thing is that inclusion does not require money. It requires change of attitude. It requires change of attitude. If we are implementing a project, if you are implementing a project, and you are the chair of a committee that is overseeing the implementation of a project in your sub-county. During the implementation, without spending a red coin, you can say, we have laws that say 30% should go to women, people with disability, and youth.